Okay, let's get into it. Just gonna go over my pre-market plan for you folks going into today's session. Really just my close watch. Actually, I got time, so I'll go over everything for the fun of it. So far, we're still kind of in this channel on SPY. When market opens, right, our swing position should be green. Well, it will be green just based off my entry. If SPY can get over this previous day high, which you can see it's flirting with, this thing really can move higher. It can start to move higher. During the pre-market, I am spotting a little bit of relative strength on the SPY compared to the Qs. As of right now, Qs is doing its best to hold above the previous day high as well. So, like I said, what I'm looking for here, this plays out. This plays out according to plan. Is we caught the bottom. We caught the bottom. The highest probability shot is, getting in at the bottom of the range, right before we get back to the top of the range. So you can see every single time we pull it down here, buyers are stepping up, pushing this thing higher. This market is still very bullish. So if we can get, above this previous day high, which you can see we're flirting with right now, I mean, this thing can really move higher. So that's exactly what I'm looking for here on the SPY. So far, so good. So far, so good. I'm liking how it looks, but coming into today, really just an anti-bar day. Really just an anti-bar day. I'll go here on the 15-minute. We did sweep the previous day highs liquidity, but we'll see what happens. But clearly, anti-bar day, previous day high, previous day low. We are sitting at the top of the range of the previous day high, so that's something I like to see. But coming into today, right, anti-bar day. Qs. So you can see Qs looks good. Qs is holding structure. Qs can do that and give us a little bit of a boost. I like it. A lot of people are looking to short this market. I'm just looking for pullback long entries, right? Even if the market's heavy, where can the market find support, right? Before buyers step in and say, okay, this is where I want to push things up. So, you can see here, you probably saw, okay, man, it's a big sell-off, right? But we ended up, finding support right here. And now this thing is moving higher. That's exactly what you want to see. So crazy, almost V-shaped recovery going on right now. And then, right, a lot of thin volume in here. A lot of thin volume, straight down equals straight up. So that's exactly what you want to see here. So we'll see what happens. Not really an inside bar day yet on the Qs. We'll see how it opens. We did sweep the previous day high as well. But you can see here, the 61280 during the pre-market is definitely holding up and being respected. So we'll see how that goes. Tesla. So Tesla's on my close watch, but I'm very cautious on this name just because it made new all-time highs. So I explained to everyone for the pre-market close watch list is, hey, if I look to take this trade, I need a good displacement on this name before I go long. I need something like that. Why? We're sitting at the top of the range. We just made all-time highs yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see something like that, right? We can expect a little bit of selling pressure, right? We could see a peak and fell. I wouldn't be surprised at that. So in order for me to say, hey, I'm taking a high probability shot and I'm not getting faked out, I just need big displacement here on Tesla. But it's either going to be a break and retest over this or pull back on off of 466.50 NVIDIA. So, right, the last, 3 days? Yeah, we kind of just, today's day 4. But kind of just sitting in here, kind of just sitting in here. But I know what I'm looking for on the video, right? We're bullish bias. I'm looking to get in at the bottom of the range before we get back to the top of the range. So one thing that I like, the trade that we took on Monday, it was off of our 176.75. We pushed, but we didn't really hold. Yesterday, not the best, obviously. But what I like now is you can see during the pre-market, during the after hours, this is getting respected much better. A little bit cleaner, I should say. So we still haven't taken out this previous day high, which is something that I like, which means, hey, it's unmitigated liquidity. So if we can get that, I like it. If we can get a pullback long, even off of 174.90, I like it. It's a confluence with the previous day low, right? So if we can sweep that liquidity and buyer step up here, man, that's a good shot as well. So I know what I'm looking for here on the video. I definitely know we're bullish bias on this name. It's just sitting at the bottom of the range. That's exactly where you want to be in a long position. So that's the game plan there on NVIDIA. And then Apple. So the A plus shot on Apple was, yesterday. Yesterday, one of the A plus shots, I should say. And for obvious reasons, you can clearly see what I mean by that, right? We were looking for this. I was looking for this yesterday on Apple. Where there's pain, there's gain. So when people's panicking, I see this opportunity. I wanted to get in down here because this was the break and retest on the daily. You can see here, daily retest. So I knew we still needed to retest this level just to get a deep enough pullback. The deeper the pullback, the tighter the risk. As you know, I'm a risk manager before I'm a trader, and this is beautiful. This is beautiful. And then you're opening up here today. That's exactly what you want. And that way, you just sit comfortably on your trade, and now you just ride the trend. So coming into today, right, the A plus shot for me is definitely going to be over 275.90, right? 2 days in a row, right? We've been sitting under here, kind of sitting in a channel. So not only is we'll be above the previous day high, we'll also be outside of this channel, getting in over 275, and this should just be the dip buy. Hope that makes sense. So that's what I'm looking for here on Apple today. Nothing on AMD, and then Netflix, I'm bearish bias on. So I'm curious. Either we're going to get a break and retest on the 95.50 or like a pop and fade off of 97.15. But what I do know is we are bearish bias on this name. I'm not looking to go long on this name. So you can kind of see a little bit of a resistance in here on Netflix. right? Not necessarily at a key level, but we can see some resistance kind of sitting in here. So I do not like that green. Give me one sec. Looks terrible. There we go. So, right, we can see some resistance kind of sitting in here. So I would hope, hey, we're sitting above the previous day high, but we're bearish bias on this name. So I'll be looking for something like that. That's a really good shot. It's off a weekly level. So that's what I'm looking for here on Netflix. But my main three going into today is just going to be NVIDIA, Tesla, and Apple. And then the main two that I'm really, really looking at is going to be Apple over 275.90 and then NVIDIA off of 176.75. And then really just managing our swing trade here. We'll see how market opens. I mean, when market opens, we'll for sure be green on these. Like I said, based on my entry. But I just want to see, hey, can the market continue higher? Can it run higher? So we're sitting at the top of the range, which is what I like. As of right now, Qs is sitting above the previous day high. So we'll see what happens here coming into market open. Golly, I didn't know I had that many alerts. Okay, so Tesla looks strong. I really like Apple. The main reason I like Apple is just because uh, Tesla's already kind of sitting at the top of the range. Relative strength on Tesla. Let's see what happens here. I'm liking this hammer stick candle here on SPY, so we'll see. This is like a great long entry in my opinion for for NVIDIA, but I kind of gotta wait there. We'll see. SPY looks really good. Nice. See what happens there. I'm watching Apple here. Apple just looks like the best to me. If Apple can set up, that would be nice. Tesla looks good. Just gotta wait and see. NVIDIA is very heavy, pretty volatile open right now. She's just trying to hold 612. Apple. Of course, I just need like a strong displacement hold candle. Tesla's really strong. I'll be looking at the money columns here on Apple and be patient here. We'll see what happens on Tesla. Hughes is doing really well holding over to 612.80. So we'll have to wait and see. Pretty volatile open. There is relative strength on SPY compared to the Qs, I'm noticing a little bit. So Looking at Apple here, starting with it. Market's just a little heavy. Spy's hold, I mean, not Spy. Apple's holding up fairly well. Yeah, Q's is just too heavy. Tesla looks cool, but I'm not spotting like too much relative strength. See what happens here. That's just too much of an aggressive entry anyway for me. Spy hasn't had our stop yet. It's just Q's is just way too heavy. Like there's actually relative strength on Spy compared to Q's. Q's is just way too heavy. So we'll see. I'm looking at this on the 15 minute though. If you're zoomed in on like the smaller time frame, it's a little too tough. I do like Apple. I'm watching Apple. Technically we got a retest here on the Qs. I mean on Tesla, but that was just like too aggressive. Apple's holding up for sure. Yeah, market is way too heavy right now. It's not necessarily selling off. It's just, I mean, it's still an anti-bar day, but market's just too heavy. Might have to cut this SPY trade soon. Just gotta respect my stop. It may hold. We'll see. Just too heavy. I do like that Apple's holding up though. Apple's holding up fairly well with this market pulling back. Apple's the only one I see relative strength on. I'm looking at the money cons here on Apple. I just need proper displacement on this. SPY's holding our key level 678 fairly well. Trying to at least. Might get stopped out here on SPY. And market's just way too heavy. It's trying. It's trying. I'm gonna let this candle close. Yeah, I'm out there on SPY. Cut my SPY trade. Probably cut it a little too soon, but I just don't see Qs finding any support. It's like my only thing. And may hold. May just hold. I'm still looking at Apple here. Looking at the 275 calls on Apple. And then guys, I'm also looking at Tesla here. Who knows? Find my hold. Find my hold. No, let's cut the SPY. I don't have time to look at that right now. Yeah, I like my shot there on SPY. Just one downside is just too heavy on Qs. There's actually relative strength there. You look at the bottom right, I only lost 200 bucks on that trade. So it was worth the shot to me. It was a big RR trade, so of course I scaled accordingly. Like I said, technically speaking, it's an inside bar day. Like price hasn't moved higher or lower. It's just this heavy pullback right now in the market. And there's really no names outside of my alert hasn't went off on Netflix. Yeah, so that was a good cut there on SPY. We were flirting with the previous day high. So it could just be a squeeze because right now SPY is just dead smack in the middle of the range. Dead smack. It's a great trade, great shot. I would 100% take that again. Hughes is just heavy. I do like Tesla. So guys, I am looking like at the money calls, the 490 calls on Tesla. I just want to see if I can spot a little bit divergence here. Tesla can reclaim 48.55 with momentum. I like it just because Q's is approaching 608.45, which is a weekly support level. So, if Tesla can find if Q's can find some support there, maybe. But there's no names that I'm looking to short at least. Pretty much just bullish overall. I don't know what this market's been doing lately. It's like we'll start this session off with just like a pullback, and then either 2 hours through or halfway through, we get this crazy V-shaped recovery. See what I mean? So right now, this bounce you're seeing is uh Tesla. I'm sorry, Q's approaching the 608. You know, who knows though? Because maybe, maybe I got squeezed out of my position for a loss on SPY. We won't know until we know. As I am looking at Tesla here, I'm looking at the 487.50 calls. I'm long Tesla. It's at the 47.50 calls. That happened pretty quick. I get stopped out. That's fine. It's not worth the risk for me. Only reason I like it is just because Q's pulled back to this weekly level, and then SPY is like trying to reclaim its weekly 678. So it's kind of already up, but trying to be patient here. I'm not trading my P&L. I'm looking for the bigger RR. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. That was solid. I know that happened really quick, guys. Be able to catch that. Yeah, about 3,000 on that trade. That looked really good. Happened really fast. This thing still looks good though. SPY's trying to reclaim this 678.45. So really just gotta like wait and see there. I mean, I cut that for a loss, but yeah, SPY's like reclaiming this. It's trying to. There's definitely some relative strength here on Tesla. And this is right off the pre-market plan, right? It was either going to be a break and retest over 48 or a pullback long off the bottom of the channel if we stayed very heavy. Guys, remember, like whenever I'm looking at like a TP or whatever, I don't care about the wicks. You see the wicks to me? Wicks do the damage, body tells the story. So I'm looking at the body of the candle. The wicks mean nothing to me. That's like invalid to me. The reason for that being is because there wasn't a body candle closure there. So you see right where these wicks occur and the body of the candle is closed. I mean, just this one 5 minute candle alone, that was a pretty big move. 489 up to 493. That was a big dollar amount move. So SPY's reclaiming the 678.45 on the 15 minute. So that stop out's a little unfortunate. I think, well, I don't think. I believe what had to happen was Qs have to find support in the market. And wherever it found support, that's where we're going to get a lot of these bounces. That happened very fast. I mean, I know those cons are expensive anyway, so yeah, this is a big bounce. This is a nice recovery on SPY. Yeah, everything you guys are seeing right now is just Qs finding support. So Qs pulled back to the 608.45 weekly level, and now that's what we're starting to see here. Yeah, so I pretty much got squeezed out on my SPY trade. Look at that. Thesis was correct. It was just Qs was too heavy pulling this thing back. So yeah, thesis was correct here on this swing trade for SPY. Like I said, everything else is noise. As long as price is above the key level here, 678.45, right? The thesis is valid. I ended up cutting it, but because there was relative strength on SPY compared to the Qs. The thing is, Qs just needed to find some support. I was hoping Qs can hold support at 612.80. I'll show you what I mean. So we open, I mean, look where Qs open, right? Above the previous day high. And I was hoping we could find support at the 612.80. We didn't. And then you see this pullback. All you got to do is look left. We held this beautifully yesterday, this weekly support. And now that bounce that you're seeing on the overall market is because Qs found support. So sucks for sure. Like I said, I'm a risk manager before I'm a trader. I showed you guys my P&L. I went in very light on that SPY trade because it was a big RR trade. So when you have a big RR trade like that, you don't need to go in heavy. So that's something I want you guys to learn, like really regarding like liquidity and like where you want to target is see the wicks, right? Look at the wicks, but look at the body of the candle. That's the real level. That's our real key level on the intraday at least. So it's a little different holding Tesla for me at least, just because we're already at the top of the range. Like we're late to the party. It played me a little bit on my feel though. It's pretty slow. See, I'm still watching Apple, guys. I understand like Apple's a slow one, but man, yeah, that's SPY's holding. SPY's definitely holding. That's the thing. SPY is officially above 678.45. So you always want to know your why. All that was we just needed cues to find support. So look at look at SPY on this 15 minute. This looks great. This looks great. Like I gotta respect my stop loss, right? I'm risking right under that. I ended up getting squeezed out of my position for a loss, but it was just because we needed cues to find support. That's a weekly level, right? Like I trusted that. So it's no biggie. But I know that the market was just too heavy on the tech side. Q's pulled back, it found support at 608.45, and now you can kind of see this reclaim. We see the damage body tells the story. So pretty unfortunate there. Not too worried about it. Like I always tell you guys, I'm a risk manager before I'm a trader. So um, right, we made 3,000 on Tesla, and then look at my loss on SPY, bottom right, $200. You see what I mean there? So yeah, it was just worth the shot for me. It was really worth the shot for me. It still looks really good. I understand you got to let it play out because the way I'm looking at this is getting in at the bottom of this range. Right, look at that wick. These are wicks that I would love to see. We can see every time we pour down here, this thing, look at that. Beautiful analysis, great thesis. Before we get up here, that's exactly what I was looking for. It's playing out now, as we can see. Very unfortunate. It looked really good at market open. I mean, this is the previous day high. We got above the previous day high. So it was just Qs were too heavy. Qs was just too heavy. But look at that on the 1 hour. Buyer stepping in. It looks good. I like it. Nothing you could do about it. I wonder if anyone's still in that. Nice. I just I saw your message just now, Jason. Jason hitting dubs, 40% on Tesla. You had a 30% day yesterday. I love to see it, bro. I love to see it. It makes my day. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Look at this SPY trade. Looks really, really good. Man. Yeah, that's nothing we can do about that. Looks super good. Look at that. Now, I said I've noticed a pattern here on the market is we open up to the downside, right? Everyone's getting squeezed out of their positions, and then we just kind of get this V-shaped recovery like halfway through the day or like 2 hours in the market open. So, man, that looked really, really good. So far, decent week, 3 green days in a row. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So week two, the damage body tells the story. So guys, remember what, I just taught you, or the educational video I taught you on how to play the reclaim. Remember, guys, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. So the reason I played the reclaim on momentum, and this was like really, this is a beautiful shot because I was able to wait for this candle to close, and then this candle gave me momentum. Beautiful, right? But the reason I was able to play the reclaim is what do you notice here? Which to the damage body tells the story. So on the pullback, buyers actually did show up and push this thing high. We didn't just fall under that. So All that, I mean, look at these wicks, right? These are people getting squeezed out of their positions for a loss. These are the traders who saying, hey, I'm trying to short the top now. We made all-time highs. I'm trying to short the top. This is a very big wick, very big wick. And look how aggressively it got bought up. So those are retail traders trying to play the reversal, getting squeezed out of their positions for a loss. And what does that do? Fuels that move higher. And we were able to catch, this whole momentum move to the upside. So I'm happy you're able to catch that too with me, Jason, for a 40% gain. That's a dot. All right, good little sell here. We can see the Tesla's having a tough time on the intraday, getting over 493. Right, if we would have ripped through that, then I'm holding. But I have to look at where the intraday strong resistance is. So that was really solid. And then remember, guys, like when I send the pre-market list or my close watch list, that's for you to have it as well. So you're able to already have those names pulled up with me when I'm pulling out these contracts and getting ready. So that's the whole point of it, right? You have it on your close watch list and then like you're ready to take your shot when I am as well. So that was like beautiful execution on all ends. I was worried a little bit that was too fast, but I'm glad we were able to do that and catch that. Solid day, really nothing going on. But then, right, that's why we got to zoom out, guys. Like, let's look at SPY. So far our thesis is correct, but we still are at the bottom of this channel. This is all SPY is doing. You know what I mean? We had a good little liquidity grab yesterday. I was hoping we actually pulled back to 673 because we got a breakout on the daily here, but we never got a retest. So I was actually looking for this. We didn't get a deep enough pullback. You can see bar stepped up aggressively. Thought we were going to hold this. It looked really, really good. We opened up, but Q's was just a little too heavy. Q's was just a little too heavy. Remember, guys, like if this thing wants to stay heavy, this 673, this is we still need a retest here on the daily. Actually, give me a sec. I'll help you out. Let me go to the daily just so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So what do you notice here? We got the breakout, got a little bit of a gap up. We pushed all the way to the top of the range. We didn't make a new all-time high. We're pulling back. But what do you notice right here? We never got the retest. So I was looking for this yesterday, right? When people's panicking, I'm looking at that as like hope and opportunity. Sorry, there's no such thing as hope. But when people are panicking, that's like an opportunity moment for me because I know, bro, this market is still intact. It's still intact to the upside. We may be consolidating, but we are not bearish. So I was looking for this 673, looking to buy the dip. We never got the retest on this level. Look at that. We kept flirting above it. We'll close under. We finally got a breakout here. And then the following day, we actually gapped up just a little bit. Gapped up and then just went on this crazy rip. So 673 still needs a pullback. Still needs a retest. So if we give up this channel, right? To me, I'm like, okay, cool. We gave up the channel, but the dip. Remember, this was a channel as well. And what do I always teach you? We want to see our channels turn into support. So we still need this channel to turn into support on 673. Hope that makes sense. Remember, guys, like we're trading on the higher time frame. We're trading on the weekly, on the daily. The intraday is just for sniper entries. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that was a really good sell there on Tesla. We're pretty much back at our entry point. We were able to sit through that, wait for that little momentum push to kick in. I was looking at the Qs as well. When I saw Q start to stall a little bit, I was like, okay. And then give me one sec. Let me show you what I was looking at here. We broke above our entry candle, so that was beautiful. Broke above our entry candle. And then you can see, right? Look at that. Look at that. It's a lot of liquidity grabs up there. That's a lot of selling orders up there. So this was the real key level, this 493. We see the damage body tells the story, and this is on the 5-minute time frame. See what I mean? So this was great, right? We were able to ride this whole momentum. We got in here, we got the break over our candle, got a straight shot to the upside. I saw Q stalling a little bit. I saw selling pressure kick in a little bit. I'm looking to my left. I'm noticing these wicks, right? So that was beautiful. That was great. Let's see. I told you guys, right? I was like, man, Tesla's back. Tesla pays us very well. So we we did our job, waiting on that daily channel where we did not touch Tesla, right? And that's kind of what I mean by patient pays. Like, 2 days in a row, right? We get paid on Tesla, but it's not because we know all or see all. It's because now Tesla is no longer in a low probability environment. So I'll show you what I mean. Like, remember, I was like, all right, 466 and 410, we're in a channel. So when you look at this on the daily, like this is a low probability environment. Now, look what happens, right? We just got a break and retest today of the previous all-time high. Yesterday, we got our entry down here because it's no longer in a channel, right? So there's no coincidence. The price action is clean. But what I was noticing here is, yeah, even though we're in a channel, look at Tesla, right? When we fell under, we came all the way down to like 398. I remember like the back of my hand. And this thing just went on a crazy rip to the upside. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That is crazy. So I know I'm not looking to short this name, but I'm also not looking to trade dead smack in the middle of the channel. So when you look at it from my perspective, it was like we did move through here. I don't know if you guys remember me saying that. Like surprisingly, we ripped through this channel faster than I thought, but we did have a little bit of a consolidation period, right? Just kind of not doing much in here. And then, right, this thing just went on a crazy rip. So Tesla's back. It's definitely back. Let me see. Give me one sec. And then what else am I looking for is now, let's go here. Let's go to the daily. I'm sorry, to the weekly. So for those who's thinking, man, I missed a move, I missed a move. This kind of correlates with it being a weekly level a little bit. So you can see resistance. So you know what I'm looking for on Tesla? It's not over yet. This 466.55. This is another great shot on the weekly time frame. So, if Tesla wants to stay heavy, we know we're not bearish. We're just looking for a pullback long off of 466.50. Remember, the break and retest happens on every single time frame. The higher the time frame, the stronger. But the crazy part is it's been a whole month. 1, 2, 3, 4. Today's Wednesday, right? So I'm not gonna, 2 days is still a lot of time. But just look at Tesla. It's ripping to the upside. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm not looking to short this name. I'm bullish bias, even though we're in a channel. And these aren't little candles, right? Look to the right. Look how small these candles pretty much were. These are strong bullish momentum candles to the upside. Even last week, we pulled back a little bit, but buyers stepped up very aggressively. Hammer stick candle, closing like that, and then we actually, get a gap up on the weekly, and look where we are now. So, right, the trend is your friend and the dip is your best friend. Practicing what I'm preaching, guys. So Tesla's falling up here is it's expected. You know what I always say, right? Um, you interrupt here, you're late to the party. But what did I say? For the pre-market game plan, I need strong displacement. I got this labeled right here, displacement. Give me one sec. Because I understand, like, hey, maybe we can expect a little bit of some selling pressure on Tesla. So long over 48, but I need displacement. So, right, big breakout there. Beautiful. We got the retest right here. Plan your trade, trade your plan. How's the dot? Let's see. Okay, nice. Other than that, that's pretty much, yeah, like there's really not much going on. And then you can look at these names, you can clearly see, even though, I mean, Apple, right? I'm not really going to say too much on Apple because Apple had a nice trending day yesterday. It did. Like, what's followed up after a nice 20-day consolidation? Apple didn't start off too hot, but this thing went from 271. I'm gonna just run out to 80, all the way up to 275.50, back to the top of the range. So Apple's move already set up. So I'm not gonna say today's like a crappy day on Apple because it did its job. Got to the top of the range and we pulled back, but then even Apple, as we speak, it's pretty much trying to sit above the previous day high. So this is kind of expected on Apple after a day it had like yesterday. Can't be too surprised here on Apple. So I'm not really going to consider that a bad day. Um, AMD, really nothing going on for me on AMD. We'll see what happens once it breaks under 203, right? Once it breaks under 203, I broke that down. Um, NVIDIA, just, yeah, not the best price action. NVIDIA looked really good, really, really good. Let's go here on the daily. So we're not bearish bias on this name yet until, we fall under 168.75. This is our weekly level breaker structure. We see that now we're bearish bias, but until then, no, not really, not at all. It's been look at these daily candles. It's been a long time since NVIDIA has been under 168.75. Buyers are defending this. We pull back here, we push all the way back up to 190. We pull back here, pretty much made all-time highs, right? We pull back here, we push up to 184.50. We pull back here, we push back up to 184.50. So this is a very strong level. We're very bullish bias on this thing. And if this sets up and people are trying to short, what I see this as? This opportunity, getting in at the bottom of the range. Still kind of got this like bull flag setting up. So if that sets up, man, that's a big RR trade. Right? You're risking right under that to catch the dip, and hopefully this thing starts to trend. So until then, right, we kind of just sit on our hands and wait. We're bullish bias on this name. The last 2 days, it's been flirting, so I thought we'll finally get it. Today it looked really good during the pre-market, but you can see just relative weakness on NVIDIA actually compared to the overall market. Relative weakness. So I was looking for that over 176.75 to get in at the bottom of the range before we get back to the top, but just too heavy. And that's because, right, every time market opens, we just got this morning downside. Just got this morning downside. So when you look at Qs, right, just trying to explain to you guys and teach you guys. When you look at Qs, you look at the morning downside, or you look at the intraday and say, man, it's heavy, but it's respecting its key levels. So when we have a morning open on the market that's just pulling back very strong, we can kind of expect that on these overall names. Now, this is a weekly level, and look at that. It did its job yesterday. We ended up holding. We made it a brand new high day. We ended up pushing up. So this is why it looked really, really good, right? On SPY as well. SPY is still holding. We're just looking for a pullback long off a weekly level. That's all we were looking for. But, right, every morning, see that? That morning downside, it's like there's nothing you can do about that. No coincidence. Buyer stepped up very aggressively. Look at this wick. That's a big wick. So we have buyers step up very strong on the 608.45. And this thing is trying to move higher, right? So if it can do that, that'd be really, really solid here on Qs. But that's really why our trade didn't work out on SPY. And then that's why NVIDIA is just heavy as well, because it's in sync with Qs. There's no relative strength or weakness on it. So if Qs wants to open and have a very strong morning downside open, right, we can kind of expect that on some tech names. That's why we took Tesla. Why? Because Tesla was showing clear relative strength. Let me go here. All right, look at that. So even though we're bullish bias on the market, look at that, right? Boom, right at 608.45. That's exactly what you want to see. So now Qs, right, buyers are starting to step up. And then every day, almost every day, we've just been getting like a crazy V-shaped recovery. Yesterday was a big one, right? Let's zoom out here. Look at yesterday. Like terrible, right? Terrible. But what did it do? It defended. It defended the 608.45 very, very well. Keep in mind, this is a weekly level, so you got to give these a little bit more room when you're trading on the intraday. But what did it do? When it finally held, push that thing higher, we got above the high day, that's solid. So this, like the market's intact to the upside. It's just sitting in a channel. That's all it's doing. Let's see. And then right when you look at our tech names, right, we just went through them. There's not really much going on. It's really not much going on. Not at all. See this pop now on NVIDIA? Look at Qs. Give me one sec. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Like these names are pretty much in sync. Look at that. In sync. See what I mean? So, right, why do we take our shot here on Tesla? Relative strength compared to the market. So just not a lot going on, to be honest. I'm surprised we actually got a setup today on Tesla just due to the crazy rip that it had yesterday, making a new all-time high. But when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, these are people getting squeezed. And you heard me say prior to entry, if we can get a momentum push, I'm taking these because I know, right? What does this do? It fuels that move higher. So that's exactly what I was looking for. You guys know what I teach. I don't believe there's a such thing as a perfect buy, a perfect sell, but this is definitely a perfect sell. That was definitely a perfect sell, right? Because now we're seeing that. That's beautiful. Like I said, guys, I still, right, we're taking our shots, we're winning trades, but I'm still being very conservative because this market is still in a channel. So we can't expect too much continuation and follow through on our plays, right? So you got to be conservative, bar by bar, let market structure take you out because, right, the market's just still stuck in a channel. Let's see. Nice. And then, like, Jason, like a little advice like that I'll definitely share with you and everyone else is watch, bro. That day will come a lot sooner than you think. You know, I said before, like, man, my average days used to be $30. That used to be like my average day, like $30, sometimes 20. Um, and then, like I said, like a $70 day was like really, really good for me. So, but it happens faster than you think. And it's crazy how our minds work because then, you hit that goal and then you're like, okay, now I want to make this and I want to make that. So just keep doing what you're doing, bro. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep comprehending what I'm saying, and it'll happen a lot faster than you think. Best piece of advice as well is just don't put a time frame on it. Like the home runs, they fall in your lap. They just fall in your lap. So that's why I always say our job as traders is to take our setups every single time they occur. It's not our job to be right or wrong because you never know, right? That trade that you take can rip, right? And that's your A+ shot. That's your home run shot. So just keep showing up every day like you're doing. I love the determination, man. You're learning. It's super cool to see. And we just keep going, right? We keep going. So far, good week for you. I'm trying to get like you, man. Super solid. But I think I'm gonna call it here, guys. It is cool to see like, hey, Tesla is definitely holding this 488.55. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Like now, what I mean when I say I'm looking for these plays to set up, I'll explain here. Like now on Tesla, this is something that I will be looking for going into tomorrow. Is today, yeah, today we played the pullback long, right? But I will want to see this daily candle close. I want to see this close with a little bit more displacement. This is what we do every single time, right? I want to see this close with displacement, and then I want to see that. So we'll see here. We'll see because depending on how this candle closes, it may be a double top, right? We see the damage body tells the story. You can see a lot of heavy selling pressure up here, but that's expected, right? We made all-time highs. We can expect some selling pressure. So this is really like something I will be looking for within the next couple of days here on Tesla. There's like another pullback off of 466.50. That's definitely something I'm looking for. But hopefully this thing just continues to run, right? I don't want us to get back in that. So we'll just have to be patient and see. But super solid today, super solid day, super solid week thus far. Really good week, right? I will 100% take this trade again on the SPY because I know what I was looking for. History likes to repeat itself, and right, the morning downside just sucked. Very unfortunate, but I got to respect my stop loss. But you can see, it's holding. Our thesis is correct. Our thesis is still correct. I just have to get out that trade. Maybe I could have held a little bit longer just because I was in with such a small position size. But I don't want to teach you guys bad habits. So we got to respect our stop loss, get out of the trade, accept our loss, and move on. I was just waiting for cues to try and find some support. But SPY was just starting to pull back with it. And I was like, dang it, I got to get out. But hey, our thesis is correct. So we'll see in the next day or two. We'll see, right? Do we give up 678.45? Or, do we push back to the top of the range and get back up here? We still haven't made a new all-time high. So we'll see. But as of right now, right, SPY is holding, this 678.45 fairly well. Our thesis is still correct. Which is the damage body tells the story. So yesterday when I saw this, I was like, oh man, I got to take the shot. I have to take that shot. So unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? It's part of the game. Like I said, right, our job as traders is not to be correct or incorrect. I can't judge your performance based on a random outcome. Our job is just to take high probability setups. And this was a high probability shot, which is still pretty much correct, but inside bar day as well. That was something I really didn't like as well. Like, see what I mean here? So on a technical standpoint, price hasn't moved higher or lower. And then what do you notice here? We're just dead smack in between the previous day high and the previous day low. Just dead smack. So it's just chopping, it's just consolidating, which sucks. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here. Hope you guys were able to learn something. Good trading day, good session. And I will see you guys on the next one.